Hey everyone, welcome to Megha Discourse where literature meets excellence. In today's video, we are going to learn about the age of revival. And as we all know that this age is known as the age of learning. It is an age of transition from medieval to modern age. And before the Renaissance dawned upon England with all its golden glory, there was a faint but powerful light, that is the age of revival. The age marked the awakening of England from the darkness of Middle Ages. It is like a bridge between the medieval and the modern. It is a time when English literature began to rediscover its voice. Now, the historical and social background. So let's travel back to 14th century, mid 14th century, a period of immense turmoil, immense change. England was recovering from the decade of turmoil, and the turmoil is because of the Black Death, because of the Hundred Years' War, the Peasants' Revolt, and the questions on church authority. So there are various reasons for the inner turmoil as well as external turmoil. And amidst this storm, this age, the spirit of English, it revived intellectually, linguistically, and artistically as well. People began to turn from Latin and French towards the English language, which is flourished by Chaucer. We have covered it in detail in our previous lecture, that is in the age of Chaucer. Now, why it is known as the age of revival? Now, this age is often termed as pre-Renaissance and age of learning because there was a renewed interest in classical Greek and Roman. Now, writers started translating ancient works into English. Human values, the dignity of man, and the moral awareness and curiosity, now they become to re-emerge. In short, this age prepared the English for Renaissance, which is our next stage, the humanism that would flourish in 16th century. Earlier we are talking about language revival. So during Norman rule, French and Latin dominated language. But by mid of 14th century, English re-emerged as a literary language. So writers like Chaucer, William Langland, John Gower, they helped to refine this language and they elevated it to a medium of art and intellect. There were so many major writers, and the first one is Geoffrey Chaucer, because it is a transition age, so there are so many major works of Chaucer. We have covered all the works in our previous lecture, so you can watch that video to cover in detail. Geoffrey Chaucer is known as the father of English poetry. He was a courtier, diplomat, and he was a poet under Edward III and Richard II. He gave literary dignity to East Midland dialect. There were so many important works like the Book of Duchess, the Parliament of Falls, the House of Fame, Troilus and Tisday, the Canterbury Tale, the most important one. There were also Scottish Chaucerian. It is very important term so far as UGC paper is concerned, so far as D++ is concerned, and so many exams are concerned. It can be asked directly or it may be asked through writing and their work. Now, Chaucer's influence didn't stop at England. It crossed into Scotland, where poets carried forward his tradition with freshness and individuality, and that were known as the Scottish Chaucerian. In late 14th 15th century they emerged. The major Scottish Chaucerian, the first one is King James I or James I of Scotland, who has written the King's Square, the important writing, like a dream vision poem influenced by Troilus and Tisday. Second one is Robert Henryson. He has written the Testament of Cressida. Important one, it is a tragic sequel of Chaucer's Troilus and Cressida. Look the important work Troilus and Cressida. The third one is William Dunbar, important one. He has written the Golden Targe, Lament for the Macaires, important. Both writing are important. He was known for his lyrical beauty. He used Scottish dialect. He blends medieval form with Renaissance awareness. The next one is Gavin Douglas. The Palace of Honor, the translation of verses in it, important one, is the first complete translation of a classical epic into any Anglic tongue, into this English tongue. Gavin Douglas is also known as the precursor of humanism, and his The Palace of Honor, it is an imitation of Chaucer work, that is the House of Fame. And there is a work that is Lament of Macaris. It is written by William Dunbar, earlier I told you. So in this, it is actually a work of Dance of Death, in which he quotes, "Fear of death troubles me." He takes 424 writers and he mentioned Chaucer, Lydgate, Gower and Henryson as well in this. So this is very important work. Okay, read it very carefully. There were another writer. The next is Sir Thomas Malory. He is a transitional figure between medieval chivalry and Renaissance realism. His important work is Le Morte d'Arthur, completed in 1470 and published in 1485 by William Caxton. It retells the legend of King Arthur and Knights of Round Table. It is full of adventure, moral conflict and lively idea. So Malory's work reflect the fading medieval code of chivalry and the dawn of moral introspection. And you know what Morte d'Arthur is? The death of the Arthur. And there is a quest of mystical holy grail. Important one. UGC has asked this question once. Now another one is Desiderius Erasmus. His Praises of Folly. Important work so far as the paper is concerned. It is a satirical attack on church corruption. He promoted the study of classical text and moral reform through education. So Erasmus represents the intellectual rebirth and prepared the way for Renaissance. He is actually a Dutch scholar and one of the earliest Christian humanists whose ideas was deeply influenced our English thought. So Erasmus represents intellectual birth. The next one is Sir Thomas More. I must say you know about it. He was a statesman, a scholar, a humanist. He is a perfect representative of early English Renaissance poet or major work is Utopia, written in 1516 in Latin. And it represents an ideal society which is based on reason, justice and equality, that is Ramrajya. And it is contrasting sharply with the corruption of contemporary Europe. Themes like political, philosophical and social criticism and humanistic ideals were there. Now here's a question. Who published it in English? Or who translated it in English and when do it published? So write down in comment section. Feature of the Age of Revival. Revival of classical learning and humanism, development of prose and poetry, the growth of national consciousness, decline of feudalism and rise of individualism, mixture of religious and secular themes. There is a language standardization, the foundation of modern English. So these are some features of Age of Revival. So the Age of Revival was not merely an age or an era of transition. It was the rebirth. It was the rebirth of thought, art, expression and the language. From Chaucer's laughter to the Langland's modern vision. From Malory's nighty dream to More's ideal public. England was preparing for a new dawn, for the Renaissance, which is our next age. Thank you. And if you like this video, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Bye-bye.